In this video, we will understand how visibility modifiers works in inheritance. So let's create a new contract here. Contract, let's say 1. Let's declare a new function. Let's say 1 public 1 function. Set the visibility to public. Let's set it to pure. And it returns string memory. And here we can return the value. Let's say public 1 function called. So now let's copy the complete contract and create one more contract because we need to inherit this contract. So let's change it to 2 is 1 now. So that means now we have this contract available inside this. So we need to change the function name because we cannot have the same function name here. So let's change it to, instead of public 1, change it to public 2. So now this function is available here. So instead of returning the value here, we can call the function, call public 1 function. And that's how you can import the contract 1 inside the contract 2, and you will have all the functions or the variables available. So this was possible because this function was set to public. If I'll try to change it to private, so before I do that, let's quickly deploy this contract. Make sure you are deploying the contract 2. I have already explained that in my previous video. So this will copy the code of contract 1 inside the contract 2. And then it is gonna deploy the final code on the blockchain in one contract itself. So I'll deploy it. Now if I'll call this function, so this will work. This will return this value from here. And this function will also work because we are calling this function inside the contract 2. So this will return the same value. So it was declared as public. That's the reason it worked. So now let's try to change the visibility to private. So if I'll change it to private, so now you see it is giving us this error. It is because the private contracts can only be accessed within this contract only, and they are not available inside the derived contracts. So this is the derived contract. So it is no longer available here. So let me create one more function here to show you that this will work here. If I'll change it to, let's say, private 1 function. Private, and if I'll try to call this function here, so this should not give us any error. Public 1 function, and you see we don't have any error. So let me comment this line for now. So we do not have any error because the private functions are only available inside the same contract. You can set it to public as well. Still you will be able to access this function here. So our next type is internal. So let's change this to internal. By changing it to internal, the internal functions are available within the same contract as well as in the derived contract. So if I'll uncomment this, so it is not giving us any error. So the internal function are available both in the derived as well as in the contract itself. So the final type or the last type is external. If I change this to external, it is giving us the error because the external function can only be called from the external contracts. So that's the reason we are seeing this error. So let's remove it from here. Also, we need to comment this. External functions are not even available in the inherited contracts. So that's the reason we have to comment this. So now let's create a new file and see how we can call the external functions. So create new file, inheritance2.sol. Let me copy and paste the header. Create or first import the inheritance. So since it is in the same directory, we can do dot followed by the file name inheritance.sol. Create new contract here, contract 3. Create new function, call external. Set it to public let's say pure returns string memory. And now we can call the function here to do return. And what was the function name? So this is the name. So we cannot straight away call this function. We have to do one more step. So now you still see this error. It is saying it is undeclared because we have not stated from where we want to call the function. So we have to create the contract instance where this function is available. So let's do one, and let's say the contract address, and do one. And now we need to deploy this contract, and we need the address. We need the address of the one because this is where from we want to call the function. Deploy this, copy this address. This is important because this is from where we want to call the function, because this is where it is deployed on the blockchain. Copy it, paste it here, and now we should be able to call this function. So we can do contract address dot this. So let's see what is the error now. It is declared as pure. Okay, so let's change it to view. And that's it. Now we are able to call this function from the outside contract. So let's deploy this. 3. Call external. And see, we are getting this value, public one function called. So this value is available here only. That's how you can access the external functions. I hope you are clear with the visibility, how to access them, what all function or what types are available inside the contract and what are available outside the contracts.